So I made quite a few videos in the lead up to The Exorcist Believer dropping. My predictions were that horror fans would carry it over into the land of profit, that it would make some money. It had a budget of $30 million. I also was very hopeful that it was going to be better than I had heard. So on October 5th, the day before the major release, that was a Thursday at 5 p.m., I sat down to watch it. I'm not going to get into all that, but suffice it to say it was not a good film. And I hate to sound like one of those comic book nerds, but they didn't understand the source material. It's like a secularized version of The Exorcist, where the aspects of faith from Father Karras and Father Marin and all the other people, Detective Kinderman, it's missing. They made a run-of-the-mill and not a good run-of-the-mill possession film. There are many other possession films out there that were better than this one that aren't The Exorcist, that don't have that particular standard wrapped around their necks. So I mean, I couldn't believe it. Chris McNeil now returning with Ellen Burstyn, saying that the reason she wasn't allowed into the original exorcism from the 1973 movie was because of the patriarchy. So, yeah, really disgusted with it. Didn't enjoy it at all. And as far as I'm concerned, the movie deserves to tank. $30 million budget, though, and right now sitting at 86 million. So it seems to have made some money, a little bit, not much. My understanding is that the next film is not going to have David Gordon Green. If there is a next film, is not going to have David Gordon Green in the director's chair. And hopefully having nothing to do with the writing. I would get him and his team, as far away from the creative process as possible. But it has turned over a couple of bucks. However, it got smacked this past week by the Taylor Swift, whatever that was, that dropped the Eras tour that dropped this particular weekend and launched itself into #1. And now already The Exorcist Believer is going to video on demand in time for Halloween. So The Exorcist, this is from a few days ago, about 6 days ago, actually. The Exorcist Believer VOD release date revealed. And it's time for Halloween. And it's in time for Halloween. So it might make a little more money. I'm curious to see if it will make it all the way to about $100 million. That would be interesting. It's currently sitting at about $86 million. In time for Halloween, people might decide, hey, I'm on the couch tonight. I'm here with my girlfriend. I'm here with my husband, boyfriend, whatever. Here with the kids. Let's watch a Halloween movie. Let's watch something scary. Let's try The Exorcist. Let's find out about it. The Exorcist Believer has barely been in theaters a week, but David Gordon Green's sequel is already scheduled for digital release. That's not a good sign. But if it makes $100 million, as critically as I can't stand it, would it be considered a success? That's an interesting question. Maybe I'll put a poll up on X. So, summary, horror fans can celebrate Halloween at home with the digital release of The Exorcist Believer later this month. The sequel has already made $46.6 million globally within the first 6 days of release. And since this, like I said, this story was released 6 days ago, I got it off the numbers.com saying that it is already at 86 million. So, okay, doubled it in about a week. While critics have given the film negative reviews, director David Gordon Green feels honored to be a part of the franchise and hopes to bring in a new audience. So horror fans who are in a head-turning mood to celebrate Halloween can get their fix in just 2 weeks, and they won't have to go to the theaters. The Exorcist Believer hasn't even been in cinemas for a whole week, and yet director David Gordon Green is already scheduled to drop director David Gordon Green's film, is already scheduled to drop on digital. According to Discussing Film, the 50-year follow-up to The Exorcist will be available on Tuesday, October 24th. So that is a week from today. It's already going to be video on demand. Green's horror flick is currently available to pre-order on most of the usual suspects, Vudu, YouTube, Amazon Prime, but none of the platforms are confirming the October 24 release. At the time of this writing, it will cost customers $29.99. Holy shit. That's a mistake, I think. Hopefully not to rent the movie. Wow. However, there's only one price showing up on the Exorcist Believers page across all the different VOD websites. The Exorcist Believer has made a total of 46.6 million globally. And like I said, since then, it's been updated to 86 million after its first 6 days of theatrical release. And that includes its preview screenings on Thursday, which is when I went to go see it. It had it wasn't empty, but it wasn't crowded either. It had a, sort of moderate crowd, but it's Thursday at 5 o'clock and people are still working or just getting out of work. So, people who have all the time in the world like me can go to a Thursday at 5 o'clock matinee and, just see what's what. Green's highly anticipated sequel was originally scheduled to open on Friday, October 13th. That would have been better to perpetuate the spooky season celebrations. Unfortunately, Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour, later laid claim to the date too. And Blumhouse CEO Jason Blum didn't want the Exorcist sequel going head-to-head with the singing sensation and her devoted Swifties. So the teeny boppers were speaking, and the Exorcist Believer got bumped. Probably better for the movie because it would have just gotten crushed. It did get 1 week at number one. I think it's actually number one now, 12 days later, if I'm not mistaken. Dropping on VOD, October 24. The Exorcist Believer set a franchise record for the series' best opening weekend with 26.5 million domestically. However, the sequel is struggling with critics and audiences in terms of reception. Director David Gordon Green's Believer has only managed an audience score of 59% at the time of this writing on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't use Rotten Tomatoes. I'll take a quick look on IMDb, though, and see what they say. Hold on. Let me take a quick look. And the critiques have been arguably scarier than when Reagan's Linda Blair's head started spinning back in 1973's original Exorcist. Yes, the critics have given The Exorcist Believer a 24% tomato meter rating against 204 reviews. I don't pay much attention to those. I don't pay much attention to the critics. At this point, I make up my own mind about things. But in this case, I think they're right. But there are those who are really enjoying the much maligned movie. And I know one or two people who say, hey, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. These are the same people, I should mention, that tried to tell me that the last Indiana Jones movie wasn't that bad either. So, you take it with about a, pound or two of salt. While Green did an interview for NBC Palm Springs, Manny the Movie Guy praised the picture. I have no idea who Manny the Movie Guy is. Green told the journalist during the sit-down that it was that spearheaded this new... Green told the journalist during the sit-down what it was that spearheaded this new film, which is scheduled to be part of a new Exorcist trilogy. Green said the 50th anniversary was the hook. I was thinking about it. Wow, it's been 50 years. And this movie holds up like it was made yesterday. Yes, it does. And every year at Halloween, they will release it. I'm sorry that I didn't catch it on the big screen for the 50th anniversary. I saw it once on the big screen for the 30th anniversary, and it was great to watch. I have a copy here. I'll probably watch it sometime between now and the 31st, Halloween being 2 weeks away from today. So a beautiful, powerful message that movie had. And to be able to take inspiration from its DNA and make a movie that felt very personal to us, bring a new audience to see what we're making and look back at what William Friedkin did so brilliantly. And that's just an honor to be a part of it. The Exorcist Believer is now playing in theaters, and look for director David Gordon Green's Exorcist sequel when it drops on digital Tuesday, October 25. So let me see real quick. I don't use Rotten Tomatoes, but let me see if it's evolved any and see what the RT score is. Let me see. So, I mean, that's an interesting question. Is this movie going to, oh boy, I don't want that. I want that. Okay, so right now, let me bring this up for you to be able to see. Let's take a quick look. And RT. All right, here we go. So right now, 22% on the tomato meter and 59% audience score. So 6 out of 10. I think that's, kind of overhyped. I don't think it deserves 6 out of 10. I think I gave it a 2 out of 5. So maybe 40% or something like that. I can't even remember. But who knows? This is something that in the next, they've only got a week between now and Halloween, but it could make it. People who just, unsuspecting people who, don't know what they're in for, could pay the fee and take it over to 100 million. I don't think so, though. That's a lot of money. If it's $29 or $24.99, that's a lot of money for a bad movie. They should be offering it for $9.99, $14.99, $19.99, the usual VOD rates. Jacking it up to $30, that's a bit of a stretch. That's my video. Let me know what you think. Is it going to make it to $100 million? If it makes it to $100 million, is that considered a success financially? I mean, critically, it's not a success. I think it's a terrible movie. But let me know what you think about all that. Like this video. Leave a comment. One word comment is fine. Excuse me, I've had a huge Dunkin' Donuts. There's about 5 shots of espresso in there, so I'm a little geeked out right now. Subscribe to the channel. My thanks to everybody. I'm going to get some more videos out soon, probably in the next day or so, and we'll be live streaming for Rosemary's Baby tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. One of the best horror movies to ever do it. Until then, we'll see you in the next video. Later, Gators.